The BCCI now suggesting sweeping changes which appear at least to put the Justice Lodha reforms under threat. My colleague Rika Roy joining us with the latest details on that. Rika, it seems the BCCI is now proposing a longer term for the Sourav Ganguly led team, which would originally have had just a 9-month stint. What are we hearing?
That's right, Ankita. In fact, earlier today, the notice for the annual general meeting went out. In fact, there has to be a 21-day notice given to the members. The annual general meeting is going to happen on December 1st. Now, what is happening during this meeting is that the constitution of the BCCI will see a few amendments, and these amendments, what we are hearing right now, will be major ones, given that Sourav Ganguly, Jai Shah, Arun Dhumal were elected, and particularly Sourav Ganguly had a 9-month tenure. The BCCI now wants to make a change in the Lodha Committee recommendation and say that any member who comes into a particular post in the BCCI, be it in the state association or in the BCCI, should do a period of 6 years before going into a cooling off period of 3 years, because that gives them enough time to make the kind of changes, to bring in processes in place, which is why they are looking at a term of 6 years. Now, if this is voted in by 3/4 majority in the BCCI during that meeting, Ankita, Sourav Ganguly and his team will go on to have a longer period. It seems now Ganguly can have a 6-year period instead of 9 months. This is perhaps the biggest development. There are others that BCCI is also proposing, like the tenure cap. They are saying that for ICC meetings, they need to send experienced people. They need to send people who can negotiate with the ICC. And remember, India owes a lot of money from the ICC, and a chunk of that money is going to come at the back end, because the calculations also include the next World Cup. So they really have to negotiate with the ICC. Now, last week ECB said that they were not happy with the pie they were getting from the ICC, and that gives India bigger negotiation powers right now, and they want the kind of face, the kind of man who knows how to operate in the ICC to go there. I won't be surprised, Ankita, if N. Srinivasan is once again asked to head India and go over to the ICC and negotiate on behalf of the Indian Cricket Board. But that's not clear as of now. What is clear in the notice that has been sent out to the members is that several amendments they want to bring in. One is the 6-year term for the office bearers. The other is to get rid of the age cap and the tenure cap, which were two key things of the Lodha Committee recommendations.
Now, explain this to us, Rika. As we know, the Lodha Committee was appointed by the Supreme Court in 2015 to analyze and recommend actions to improve the functioning of the Board of Cricket Control in India and perhaps keep it as free from corruption as possible. That was one of the aims of it. If indeed these changes are now being proposed by the BCCI, will the Supreme Court have a role to play? Will they perhaps have to give the nod before this can happen? How is this going to work out?
Well, Ankita, what I understand is there is an ombudsman to oversee all of this, and of course all of these amendments can go back to the Supreme Court for their nod, or the ombudsman can just say go ahead with what you have recommended right now. Also, you know, the BCCI wants greater powers for Secretary Jai Shah. At the moment, he has just been reduced to a signatory. Right now, in the proposed amendment, they want Jai Shah to have the powers that were with the previous secretary, which means the Apex Council and perhaps the CEO reports to him. Right now, that is not the case. So greater powers for the secretary is what the amendments also want. We'll really have to see how these go forward, given that these are a part of the notice that has been sent out to the members, and what they really now need to do is get a 3/4 majority from the members on this and get their vote. Perhaps if 3/4 majority votes in, then the Supreme Court will also in a way be compelled to give their nod.